When does a man deserve submission? It's a good question. KaptanSolo made a response to my original video, so you might want to go check that out. Link in the description box. Now, I didn't really get deep into when a man deserves submission in my first video, but we should talk about that now, especially since some of the men are saying that I'm basing it on superficial things. First of all, my video was not supposed to be an all-inclusive list of what you should look for in a man. So if you're taking my video to mean that the only quality you should look for a man is that he has money, that's not what was said. I'm talking about what deserves submission. The only thing that's really necessary to deserve submission is to hold a position of leadership. Character be damned. If I buy a car, I'm the boss of that car, and if you want to ride in it, you do what I say when you're in the car. If my character's so bad that you can't stand it, then why are you in my car in the first place? But if you do get in my car, then yeah, me owning that car is all I need to do to get your submission in my car. If you go into the house of an axe murderer, you should do what they say do in their house. If you're so offended by the bodies in the basement, get out of the house. There is no, well, I'm gonna come in your house, but your character is so bad that I'm not gonna do what you say. No. The way you boycott bad character is to not be around that person in the first place. Now, I had said, not in these exact words, in my other video, that a man who is a sole provider deserves to be submitted to. And some of the men were commenting back saying, well, what if he has good character? Well, let's go back to the car analogy. I'm a female. I bought a car. You're a man. You want to get in my car. You have good character. So now I should do what you say in my car? No. I'll submit to you in your car. In my car, if anybody's going to do any submitting, it's going to be you. But the thing of it is, if you submit to me, I don't want you. You already know what I call men who follow women. I think what's going on here is these men think that they should be submitted to just because they're the man. Or maybe even because Jesus said so. So, since they feel that way, they don't want the bar for what deserves submission to be too high so that most men will still be able to qualify. Depending on how you want to define good character, all a man would really have to do is just be a decent guy, which I think most men are, so then most men would qualify. Well, being a good guy doesn't mean you know how to lead or provide for a family. The fact that you're trying to provide for your family, or you intend to or would if you could, is not good enough. This idea of wanting an A for effort is some bullshit. Moving on. Some of the guys were asking the question, well, what if I had a good job, but I lose it? Are you still going to submit to me? That's a very good question, and here's the answer. If a guy had a job, say for example making $100,000 a year, and when he had his job he bought a house for me to live in, a car for me to drive, was feeding me and all that stuff, even if he loses his job, I'm still living in his house. Therefore, yes, I still submit. But even if he loses his job and then loses the house, he's still a $100,000 man, and things aren't going to stay bad forever. I know that eventually he'll probably be able to get right back up to where he was, maybe even better. Because this is a man who knows how to make $100,000. I can believe in him based on his track record. If you have no track record, then no, I don't believe in you. How do I know you're ever going to be able to get there? But you know what? Asking me this what if I lose my job question just seems to be another attempt to try to make this seem like it's a shallow thing. Moving on, someone brought up the way Sanaa Lathan's character was treating her husband in the Tyler Perry movie A Family That Prays Together. Just in case you haven't seen the movie, basically the woman makes way more money than the man, and because of that she would belittle him and taunt him and tear him down. Now that's an example of disrespect, and no man deserves that no matter what. But we're not talking about respect, we're talking about submission. Should she submit to this guy? No. Why would a woman who's already arrived follow a man who has not arrived yet? Just because and only because he's a man? And there we are, right back to all men should be submitted to no matter what. That's bullshit. I purposely entitled my video, A Real Reason for Women to Submit, No Bullshit. If Oprah were to marry a guy tomorrow who only made $60,000 a year, there's no way in hell she should give him control of her billions of dollars. That is not a billion-dollar man. He does not know how to make $1 billion, so he does not need to be over it. You don't give people control of things that they don't know how to make or maintain. A $60,000 man doesn't know anything about $1 million, let alone $1 billion. He would be in way over his head. And that's exactly what happens to people who have never had money and all of a sudden they win the lottery. In 5 years they're broke again. Since they don't know how to make $1 million, if you give them $1 million, they don't know how to keep it. That's why good character isn't enough. You can have all the good intentions in the world. If you don't know how to put that plan into action, it's no good. Next point, which hinges off the point I just made, a woman should not have to go down to your level to submit to you. If she has to lower herself to submit to you, then you're not worthy. I'll give you an example. Back in biblical times, it was common for a man to marry a woman that was much younger than him, but that wasn't a problem because she would be submitting to him. Well, let's flip that and say that a 40-year-old woman is going to get with a 16-year-old boy. If she's supposed to submit to him just because he's male, then that means she has to throw away her 40 years of experience throughout life to get up under a 16-year-old boy. She's going to give him control of the finances even though she makes the money, and whatever decisions that he makes, as crazy as they are, she's going to have to go along with them because he's the male and the final decision is his. If a 40-year-old woman is going to follow a 16-year-old boy, she might as well be 16 herself because she's going to be living at a 16-year-old level. That's about how ridiculous it is for a woman who's already established to follow a man who is not established. You have to be qualified to leave, and just having a pickle doesn't make you qualified. Having a good character doesn't make you qualified. Having good intentions doesn't make you qualified. I'm sorry, but it just be that way sometimes.